call on Government Order of the Day number 6.
Hineuru Claims Settlement Bill, third reading.
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Christopher Finlayson.
Mr Speaker, I move that the Hineuru Claims Settlement Bill be now read a third time. And I want to begin by welcoming the community of Hineuru here today. Mr Speaker, it's fitting we're in this House where matters of law are discussed to address the wrongs that have been committed by the Crown against the people of Hineuru. I recognise a number of visitors in the gallery today. They will never have entered this House before, and many will have a relationship with the institution of this building that's clouded by a long history of mistrust and grievance. And I hope their experience today is going to be a positive one. Hineuru's journey to settlement stretches back decades. While I acknowledge those present, it's only right to mention those who are no longer with us, the original claimants who carried the claims of their tipuna but were unable to see their aspirations recognised in legislation. I pay tribute to those who were instrumental in reaching this day, including Hine Campbell, Rere Puna, Corey Hill, Nick Wall, Emmy Wall, Puawai Rahui, Hoani Hohepa, and Fetu Tipawai. I also want to mention Nicholas Toohill. He was a former historian from the Office of Treaty Settlements whose final work before he passed away was directed at describing the injustice suffered by this people. Injustices that have put a serious stain on the reputation of the Crown and need to be recorded in Hansard today as a reminder to future generations of the hurt borne by past generations of Hineuru. Mr Speaker, the tipuna of Hineuru lived and cultivated land in the mountainous inland region between Napier and Taupo Moana. This was a strategically important area because it was one of the main thoroughfares between the central North Island and the Hawke's Bay. Unfortunately, their first interactions with the Crown took the form of protests at the Crown's failure to include Hineuru in its negotiations to purchase the Ahuriri block. In October 1866, Crown forces attacked a group of Maori who were camped at Omaharanui near Napier after the expiry of an unreasonable ultimatum calling on the group to surrender. On the same day, Crown forces intercepted, surrounded, and subsequently attacked another group led by Hineuru Rangatira Te Rangiharoa, further north near Petane. Crown forces killed him and also other Hineuru people during the attacks, and then pursued Hineuru and other Maori into their rohe and plundered their kainga. 34 members of Hineuru were captured, and among the 86 prisoners who were transported to the Chatham Islands without trial. While these prisoners were being held captive, the Crown proclaimed a large confiscation district in the Hawke's Bay that included a great deal of Hineuru land. After years of protest by members of Hineuru, the Crown in 1924 promoted legislation that allowed the Native Land Court to award land in Tarawera and Tatara Akina to Hineuru individuals descended from those who had been excluded from the 1870 grants. However, this action was repudiated by the Crown in 1952 when it promoted legislation that overturned these titles. For Hineuru, these actions resulted in decades of uncertainty about tenure, significant financial costs, social and cultural dislocation, and left them virtually landless. Yet despite all this, they have persevered. Mr Speaker, I ask all members to stop for a moment and consider this, to consider how a people could go from a position of holding a fertile area of strategic importance to one in which they were left virtually landless alienated from their traditional homes and struggling to maintain leadership structures, cultural practices, and indeed their very language. I ask members to consider how the people of Hineuru sitting in the gallery today, whose ancestors have been subjected to such horrific treatment, who have suffered economic and social marginalisation in their own rohe, can find it within themselves to be able to sit at the same table and engage in this process of reconciliation with the very group who, despite being entrusted to protect their interest, were responsible for the loss that was suffered. It's a testament to the character of this people that we're here today. It's a testament to their generosity, to their desire for a better future for their children, that they've foregone full compensation for the losses they have suffered. By accepting this settlement, the people of Hineuru give a great deal to their country, and for this I thank them. Mr. Speaker, I want to acknowledge the Hineuru negotiation team. I want to make a particular reference to Corona Brown and Ivy Kahukiwa-Smith for their significant contribution as lead negotiators. I want to acknowledge the other trustees of their trust, including Te Rohia Bridger, Renata Bush, Toi Tawhai, Te Reo Spooner, and Te Huio Kahukiwa. All these individuals have carried the heavy weight of their tupuna and deserve praise for their services. Can I also acknowledge their advisors, including Tracy Hopapa and the team from Kensington Swan, who have made a significant contribution to pursuing this settlement. And finally, sir, I want to thank the Crown team, ably led by one of our own, Paul Swain. Although this is undoubtedly a day for the Hineuru community, I know that officials from across various departments share their excitement. Mr. Speaker, at the deed signing, I spoke about the significance of rangatahi. Those who will inherit the full benefits of the settlement, who will not be made to endure the same prejudices as their tipuna, and who I hope will remember their history and will share it with generations to come. I reiterate these comments in this third reading speech, but say something more. The time has now come for you to persist and persevere. The weight of your tipuna will now fall on your own shoulders to carry. And through this settlement, I hope your shoulders will not be overburdened. I want to finish by recalling the first negotiations meeting when the negotiators presented Crown officials with an old New Zealand flag. This was the last flag flown at the Te Haroto School, and it flew at their marae on the day the officials met with Hineuru. In the past, the flag had been flown as a symbol of partnership with the Crown. During the meeting, the negotiators said they'd lost faith as a result of preparing their claims for negotiation. They lowered the flag, they folded it, and presented it to the Crown, with a challenge for the Crown to hold it until such time as Hineuru considered the relationship of trust and good faith had been restored. I have the flag today and look forward to presenting it to the people of Hineuru after this bill has been passed. I look forward to the flag flying again in Te Haroto as a representation of the partnership and of mutual trust between the parties. So, Mr. Speaker, it's been a long journey, and I'm delighted that we have reached this stage. I commend the bill to the House.